But it does seem very unfair to me, Sue, that the child who was the victim of
biting
regularly is excluded because the nursery said we can't really do much about it.
Well, most nurseries, I wrote an article called Vampires at the Nursery, actually, about why children bite and things because of frustration or not language development and all that. But surely the job of a nursery, and I'm not being controversial, I hope, too much, is to protect the child that's being bitten, completely. I would have thought, because it's not OK. And normally...
Well, in all genres, it's to protect every child.
Everybody,
whether the child that's biting, whether the child that's been bitten. It's
and also then to teach the child that is biting, or to look to the reason. I always look at the root cause of why is the child doing that. But on the other hand, you have to protect all the other kids because they won't want to play with him or anything like that. So it's an unusual story that she was then...
Is Stacey still there?
Oh, yeah.
So you have now got Lewis into another nursery, haven't you? And they've got a very firm kind of guidelines about violence.
Yeah, I mean, when we first went viewing the nursery, that was one of the biggest things, obviously, that I was concerned about because it'd been such a massive problem at its previous nursery. So they have a fantastic protocol. I was happy straight away with everything that they, you know, proceeded if, you know, Lewis was to be bitten again and again and again.
So they say if a child is bitten or in any way injured, then that child will never be left on their own and will be monitored regularly. That's their system. Oh,
yeah, that's correct.
You need to put a few quid in the meter there, I think, Stacey.
The key thing here, actually, for parents, though, is to make sure when you're looking at a nursery, because I've written articles around choosing a nursery and all that sort of thing, that you actually then ask, have you got a policy for, you know, pushing, punching, biting, so that you feel secure before you start the nursery?
With all due respect, I would expect that anyway. If I had a child and I was sending my child to nursery, I would expect that if someone was biting my child or pushing my child over, that a teacher or a nursery assistant would step in to stop that from happening.
You would think that, wouldn't you? But the only thing to do from any experience is to learn from it, and perhaps we can help other viewers think, oh, actually, I better ask about the policy.
What about when you get told that was your child? I said my son went through a stage of biting.
And you're probably mortified, were you?
You're absolutely... Well, actually, I was there, and it was on a play date. Unfortunately, the mum was a friend of mine, and she was really cool, so don't worry. But I just disciplined him. I said, you know, the play date ended, we sent them home, he was sent to his room, you know, and... But what do you do if,
well, the interesting thing to do is not to pay necessarily attention to the child who's done the biting, because they get all the attention, and sometimes children are looking for attention-seeking things. In fact, if you put all your attention on the child who's been bitten, and, oh, my goodness, this is terrible and awful, then actually, and then start talking and teaching. My whole thing is about talking and teaching, not blaming, but educating, teaching a child that that isn't OK, and you have to sit there or whatever you want to do because we're not going to have that again. And like you did, off we go, we've got to go home. This is a big deal, and we mustn't do that again. And then look at what is the... Look at a trigger. What was the trigger? Was it they were sharing toys and he didn't get it and he wanted it, and then helping him?
But it is the responsibility of parents and nurseries together.
You must work together. It's a bridge between home and school, and when I used to teach reception in schools as well as nurseries, it's about talking and teaching, working together to help a child. They don't know always, do they? They're learning.
They're little,
they make mistakes.
And Stacey, sorry we lost you there, Stacey, if you can still hear us. Thanks for joining us.
But I'm glad he's in a good nursery now.
Yes, so are we.
She's very happy with the new one.
Thank you so much for coming.
Pleasure.